Okay, so when it comes to working with images for the screen, they need to be in RGB color mode, and we can check that really quick. Image mode, RGB. We don't need to change that. CMYK is what we would turn this into if we were printing it, but since this is for a website, which is screen related, RGB color mode is totally fine. If you go to download any images online, typically they come in RGB, and then you have to switch them over to CMYK if you're going to print. But if you're doing things for like application design, websites, that kind of thing, RGB is totally fine. Also, like I said, if we go to image size, the resolution of 72 for screen is perfect. 300 is for print. So we left off here in the video. We just saved out this landscape.jpg. We saved over the original file that we downloaded from the Unsplash. And the width of this is now, it's gone from like 55 inches to like 15 inches. So let's actually do a image size again. And we're going to size this down again because 15 inches is still too large. So let's go ahead and make it like 3 inches wide, or maybe like 2, and push OK. And it gets really small. If that makes you uncomfortable, just do Command 0. You can see how pixelated this looks because it's 72 ppi and it's a fairly small image. But if we do File, Save a Copy again on your computer, we will save this out as a JPEG file again, but we will change it, and we're still in our images folder, and we'll make it smaller. So this is going to be the landscape smaller image that we are going to use, and I'm going to show you in a minute what we're doing here, but we'll have 2 landscape JPEGs, one named landscape.jpg, that's the one that's 15 inches wide, and then the landscape smaller with a capital S, no spaces in the file name, .jpg. This will be the smaller size of 2 inches wide, I believe. Make sure your format's on JPEG and push save and OK. So let's go back into Sublime Text and let's add in our new, well actually if we do go into Chrome, go to our website, it did make it a lot smaller. But that's still too big. So we will hook up the even smaller image. So the only thing we have to do is change the name of the file here in the path, in the source, right here, okay, in the quotes. So just right here, we just need to add in smaller, okay? Then save that, file save, go into Chrome and refresh. And whoop, now we have the really small image, and that looks much better. Might have to do this with some of your images. You know, you might want to make them all the same size sometimes, especially if you're trying to work with a grid layout, just to make things look cleaner. But let's make this a link that we can click on to view the image larger. So let's go into Sublime Text. I'll show you how to do that now. So we need to make the image a link to the larger image. So in order to do that, we need to wrap the image in a link. So let's start in front of image tag, start doing A, which is the link tag, and then href equals, we can also just do the autofill. We'll put the link address in here, so /, it's going to be basically the same images as our other one here, but just without the smaller. So make sure you spell everything right. So here we go. That's our opening A tag. It does have the href included in it. / is inside of our root folder. Inside of our image folder, look for landscape.jpg, which is the 15-inch wide one. And then the alt text, let me zoom out a little bit. Alt text is right here. Let's just put in the closing A tag. I'm going to shorten this up a little bit. Just for the purpose of being able to make this so it doesn't wrap. So I think the text is a little bit easier to view if it's not wrapping. Can get confusing if it's starting to wrap down. It might confuse you guys a little bit, so I don't want to do that. Sun on grassy hills is good enough for the alt text on the thing. So yeah, now it's a link. So we have that image tag here, the original one that we put in. It's linked in it's wrapped in a link tag, and it will link So if we Command S this, it will link to the larger image. You can tell it's a link when you hover over it. Why isn't this working? Let's see, did I do something wrong here? Okay. It should work. Command S, and let's go here. Oops, let's go back into a browser here. Refresh. Oh yeah, it is working. So yeah, you can tell it's a link usually. Normally I get like a little hand here, but you'll have to use the back button to get out of it, but it does link to the larger image so we can see it in larger detail. So if you made a portfolio website, you might want to link the smaller image to a larger, more detailed image so you can see that in better detail. Okay, so moving on. Let's go over the article section and aside tags now. So if we go into Safari or our Brightspace Core Shell Week 4 and scroll down, there is a document in here that you can download, the article section aside tag code, download me. So let's download that. And it will automatically open up on some machines. It opens up in TextEdit for me. It might open up in a different thing for you depending on the type of computer you have. So here we go. This is kind of like somebody wrote this and I copy pasted it, but it's basically a whole web page. So it starts with the HTML. It has the head up here. It's not full, obviously. It's more of a condensed version of a website. With the body and then header and then the main. So the main is the real area that we want to look at here, the main part of the code. So as you can see, there's an article here and it ends here, and then it has, you know, some title of the article in an H1 with text explaining the article in a paragraph, and then there's sections inside of the article. So say this is like maybe you know, maybe if it's a book and then you have chapters in the book are outlined by the sections. And then the aside, there's actually several asides inside of the article tag, comments directly related to the article, other asides or articles similar to the main article. So those are actually included in the article tag. And then there's even another aside outside of the article tag. Block of content not directly related to the article, i.e. a form to sign up. So the aside tag is really kind of fluid and you can use it in a lot of different ways, but let's go from article all the way down to this aside text and do Command C to copy this, okay? And then we're going to paste it into our Sublime text, HTML index.html. So I'm wanting to get rid of basically everything underneath the link, or the the image that we put in. So basically go from the H1 to the closing OL tag. We want to keep the main tag in there, so get that. And then we want to get on the same level as the link tag and then paste in the article. So the formatting on this isn't quite right. It's too deep, so we're going to have to delete it to where it's nested in there properly. But the section tags, I'm just going to do those first. These are all on the same level, and I'm just going to bring them all back. There are little lines that you can see in the code which are helpful in doing this. I'm just going to work my way down the line. I want to keep my code nice and neat and super legible. This article tag should go here because it's a little bit further. It needs to line up with this one, which I think it does. And all this stuff is nestled inside of it. This aside is at the same level as this article tag, so putting that there. And then let's just make this indent as far as we can get it. I need to plug in my computer apparently. So, you know, this is kind of a long process. We have to go about it line by line, but it does make for a lot more readable code when we make sure that we're indenting 2 spaces for all nested elements. Okay, so that's kind of what that should look like. We don't need a space here either. So basically right here is what that should look like. Hopefully you can see it decently. I can zoom out a bit too. That helps. Okay, so that is basically the article contains the sections, and you can have asides in there either within the article tag or outside of the article tag. And this is typically something that would go inside of the main tag because it's content. And it is important to use to section out your content in a way that makes it so that screen readers can go through your content on your website and be able to navigate it with simplicity and with ease. And this is part of how we can help make our website more accessible, is by using these tags to organize our content. And that's why these were made, the section, article, and aside tags were made for to organize content for screen readers specifically. So let's Command S, save this. Let's go into Chrome, and this is what it should look like in Chrome. You can see the title of the article, header for all of the sections, and then some of the asides. So that's what that should look like in your browser. Okay, so let's bring in the figure tag. We're going to wrap our image in a figure tag. The figure tag is used for basically all media, images, illustrations, diagrams, code snippets. I think you can put it around video and audio tags, and it's basically used to organize the content, much in the way like much in the way that article does, or section does. It just helps those people with screen readers navigate your site with more ease. So let's wrap our image in a figure tag, since we're supposed to be kind of using that to signify media. And then we want the closing figure. Actually, let's push a return, close that out, push return, get on the same level here, and close out that figure tag. Okay, so that's what we just added in. Basically, we wrapped our A tag in the figure tag. And then fig caption is usually used with figure, and it describes the figure. So fig caption is used to describe. And it's usually contained within the figure tags. So let's put that after the image. So push return, start typing in fig, and go to fig caption. And then let's actually use this to describe the media a little bit more. It can be longer than an alt tag. So it's, for an image, it's a little bit better in some ways because it can help you describe, the author of the image, the location of the image, and it's basically just think of it as a caption. So let's go ahead and just do Felton, Homestead, Paw, Mountains, and Haver, MT, photo by Peggy. She actually does take pictures out there, so maybe something like that for our fig caption would help us describe our image. And it's a lot longer than the alt tag, and it doesn't actually describe what's in the image necessarily, but it just helps give a little bit more context to our image. Okay, so we can actually go on with the audio element, and this is used to embed audio content into a document. It does use a source to link the audio source, much like images have a source. So we can work on that in the next video. I think there'll be just one more video, and I don't think it will be a complete 15-minute video. I think it will be closer to like a 5 or 10-minute video, so we're almost there.